Okay, so on behalf of Greenaway Architecture Associates and Lyons, I'm going to present to you the Koorie Heritage Trust. Importantly, this project is located on the unceded sovereign lands of the Wurundjeri people, lease and coordination. None of this area is devoid of meaning. It's built on an ecology of Indigenous presence, past, present and future. Importantly, it's very much related to the lifeblood of community being the River of Mists and Shadows, better known as the Yarra River. And in many respects, it's very much informed by how we start to coalesce a story of country and how it really connects to and stitches into the ecosystem of, some really important cultural markers within the city, being ACME and GB and the KHT as well. And it's very much, having a dialogue with this sort of layers of history and memory of the place. We know that the Federation Square is an important part of the cultural precinct, but the Birrung is equally as important. And the layers of meaning really sort of bring together these ideas of the geologies, the ecologies, the cultures, midway between Dites Falls and Yarra Falls. So really significant place of great meaning to Wurundjeri. And we were tasked in 2018 to really reimagine how we can very much viscerally connect to the river, and we explored some ideas and sort of opportunity around how we start to do that. And so this is really building upon some of that really important work and sort of foundations of how we think about the space. And across that, we've really sought to, talk to a number of sort of key design moves which respond to the colours, textures, materiality of country, connecting to the river, connecting to some of those really important ecosystems, but really important, centred on the amplification of Indigenous knowledge systems as key driver to our design thinking. And certainly we've seen through the media over time how we've started to challenge how we navigate history, how we navigate commerce, and we know that certainly Federation Square is now a heritage listing, so this idea of heritage is a really interesting exploration of how we engage with history when we draw upon 67,000 years of continuous connection. And so importantly, this has been the missing link in terms of bringing up the presence of this really important cultural meeting place to showcase culture. And before there was this disconnection between the middle level, which Melbourne Festival, so they went essentially from a tenant to a host where we start to stitch together and have a presence across the entirety of the building. And you can see some of the earlier images around what it was before, and there was these sort of pinch points and these blind turns and this disconnect in terms of its relationality to country. And so we've really sought to open up those connections, provide those vistas and lights of sight. And certainly drawing upon the memory of things like the significance of the scar tree, the river red gums, that sort of connection between the banks and the water as being a really important driver in terms of ecological systems, sustainability, very much as a metaphor of how we thought about the project. Looking at certainly how we use materials cleverly and how we start to create this figure, particularly in this instance using materials of country, spotted gum in this instance as a really important driver to that idea of engaging with a sort of phenomenological approach to design thinking. And certainly drawing upon cultural meaning, elements of the scar tree as being emblematic, certainly moving from the sort of the exploration of Indigenous culture as being dots, in the southeast it's very much about this sort of patination in terms of the chevron. And drawing upon elements like the sap of the river red gum, blossom of eucalypts as, again, a real important driver to centre your understanding of the importance of country as a key dimension. And subtly encoding meaning, for instance, here we're using the blossom of the manna gum, which is used for a traditional smoking ceremony. So you are being welcomed to country as part of the figure here in terms of the described treatment of the wall surfaces. So I'll hand over to Sam, who's going to take you through a bit of exploration of the spaces.
It'll be a straightforward walkthrough because I know we're short on time and hopefully you can't see it for yourself. But as part of this process with the Our City, Our Square, the Yarra Building, formerly known as being rebadged, in the process of being rebadged as the Birrung Building. It's been a number of years since we've referred to it as the Yarra Building. It's a really significant thing. This is the ground floor plan or the level 1 plan. It's got a series of major spaces. I'm going to walk you through 4 of them. You'll arrive at a concierge, there's an education room, a breakout kitchenette, and 2 new river rooms, meeting rooms, education rooms. And the idea of arriving on country, the chain of ponds, the figure of the ceiling, and literally reopening windows back to engage with the Bureau is a significant move for us. And the river's edge, the journey line, which we hope you can follow, is the spotted gum wall that connects all 3 levels now. This is the concierge. You arrive here, you arrive on country with basalt from the Western Australian sandstone of Federation Square onto basalt, Victorian basalt. And visitors either are ushered upstairs to the main galleries and to another concierge into the shop, or to the left down to the education room where school kids are hosted in this space. A retrospective work by Josh Muir is emblazoned on those screens. You can see off in the distance the T-point, and further afield looking back towards that education lounge. A quiet image, this one usually buzzing with school kids, this location. Stepping further back, you can see this river wall, the journey line, the timber wall, which actually holds and it's embedded the permanent collection, 2,000 odd objects and artefacts. I'll keep moving. These rooms, of course, break out and open up from event mode, as you can see here, engaging with the river. Better in winter when the leaves are all gone, you can see the river in full clarity. The education map, transposed from an 1830s map, overlaying our city grid with the chain of ponds. You follow that journey wall and the collection upstairs, and you arrive at the level 2 plan, which is 2 major galleries and some common areas, and it really does start to link Federation Square to the Bureau, figuratively and literally, as I just said. So there's a series of lounges, pop-up retail, some storage and a preparation room. These diagrams, of course, exemplify what that plan just did. Here you are arriving with the collection, the Mangagum backlit metal panels to a concierge looking out to the Bureau. To the left is the main gallery and lounges beyond from further afield. And you follow that chain of ponds, the reflective ceiling, which has a wonderful double effect and a double reading of all of the fit out down to the preparation room, which is another core function, a little behind the scenes, but is core to the upkeep of the trust, a core component of what they do and present. Back through the lounges, the pond carpets, diamond shields, and into this major gallery space, which is essentially removing all of the commercial tiles, blacking out ceilings, blacking out floors, and allowing the work and the presentation of Koorie artists to bring a performance. Stepping between the 2 galleries, again engaging with Federation Square in a view that's only just become apparent to us, and connecting up to level 3, which is a 2016 fit out by the same practices, up and down, so you can start to see how all 3 levels are tied, and then quickly into the second, slightly smaller of the 2 galleries, and that reverse corridor. You can step back through that. The diamond shield is a literal connector between all 3 and a very clear wayfinding device for it, just to be really prosaic about it.
We'll have to wrap it up, but feel free to flick through your slides to the end.
Lisa Walk, textile work, artists, and a reflective space, a series of reflective lounges looking west of the waterfalls. And just the final point is Indigenous representation from the design team to the client to the lead contractor. It was tended to 3 Indigenous-owned construction companies, to artists, etc.